Good day. Thank you for choosing Strategic Accounting as your service provider. My name is Francis Abdul. I'm a qualified chartered accountant. I have 3 degrees. I've got a BCom degree, a BCom honors degree, and a master's degree in IFRS. I qualified as a chartered accountant in 2001, 2002. The main purpose of this video is to demonstrate strategic accounting and its service offering and why are we different from accountants down the road. I'm going to go through a quick presentation, but we'll do more detailed videos in terms of these presentations that I'm just going to briefly go through. The main purpose of this presentation is to show the business life cycle of any business. I can demonstrate a business in 3 areas. Firstly, there are pre-incorporation activities, which is the block on the left. Then you have the engine room, which I call the engine room, which is your accounting, tax, and payroll segments. And then it's the reporting requirements as far as any business is concerned. So let's get into the pre-incorporation activities. Any business, whether you're a sole proprietor, a partnership, a company, a closed corporation, you need to think about your pre-incorporation activities. For example, in a company, you need to deal with the Companies Act. You need to think about VAT, you need to think about payroll, you need to think about import-export, Income Tax Act, and all other legislative requirements where your business are operating in. Now, these requirements are very important because that drives the behavior as far as the processing element is concerned. Because if these elements on the left is not considered appropriately, for example, when you're employing employees and you are not payroll registered as far as size is concerned, your EMP 201s, etc., then you have a problem in the middle, because then your behavior on the left is not considered correctly. Then your behavior in the middle will be considered inappropriately and incorrectly, and therefore when we're reporting information to SARS, we are reporting incorrect information, and therefore that's where most businesses get into trouble. So the presentation or the video today is considering the things in the middle and why are we different from the accountant down the road. So look at the pre-incorporation activities. Like I said, there will be more videos dealing with pre-incorporation activities, the decision making and decision types, the external compliance factors, and the Companies Act requirements. These activities I'll explain in more details in more videos to come. Our main focus today is dealing with the accounting, tax, and payroll life cycle of any business. I can split a business into 4 areas or 4 core quadrants that a business needs to go through. Firstly, March, April, May, it's the quarter 1. If your year end is the end of February, the things that you have to deal with on the left is VAT, which is bi-monthly compliance, EMP 201, which is monthly, and you need a payroll system for that, IRP 5s, you have to close off your year end if your year end is February, and you have to deal with management accounts. In order to deal with all of these elements, you need to have a robust accounting system to do it. You cannot deal with any of these elements if you do not have proper controls, proper accounting, proper service providers, proper payroll systems. Otherwise, you cannot do the activities in quarter 2. So what are the activities in quarter 2? We're dealing with, once again, VAT, EMP 201s, which is your payroll filing, your EMP 501 interim reconciliations. Then the most important thing of everything is your preparation of your financial statements and your filing of your provisional tax returns, and once again, management accounts. So why are these things very important as far as any business is concerned? Because you cannot make decisions if you do not have proper management accounts, if you have proper financial statements and controls in place. Now, what we do as far as strategic accounting is concerned, we put these controls in place. When I started this business in 2006, there was no such thing as online web-based applications. The only thing that existed in 2006 is your Pastels of the world, which is machine specific. And if you have a little bit more money, then you would have had a server in-house where people will connect through your SQL service, and therefore you can transact based on those service applications, etc. Now, when I started my business, there was no such thing as web-based applications. So the biggest challenge for me was that my client would be doing their invoices on Excel or Word or some sort of accounting system. The accounting systems don't talk to each other. He will email the documentation to me, and then we will prepare whatever we need to prepare. Now, that is a very inefficient process, and I think most businesses today, as far as small businesses are concerned, are still applying the same model in 2018. The problem with that model is that you don't have information to make decisions, because any business needs to have information to make decisions. And if you cannot make decisions, then how can you run a business? So if you look at the model that you see in front of you right now, the strategic accounting model is basically broken down into three main areas. The first one is a cloud-based accounting system. I'll spend some time on that right now. A shared service center environment. These two elements, the shared service center environment, the cloud-based accounting system, is basically the backbone of our engine and our backbone of our model, our business model. So I'll demonstrate the business model to you right now. And then we've also developed a product called Virtual Financial Director, which I'll spend a few minutes on it. And I will have a specific video dealing with Virtual Financial Director and specifically why that model is very applicable for businesses that's making turnover of 8 million and above. So let's get into it. So why are we different from small businesses, especially on the accounting side? So if you look at the About menu button over there, so our main mission basically is to become a leading virtual office in South Africa, creating value through a shared service center environment, thus creating an online information in order for businesses to make decisions immediately. So what does that actually mean? What it actually means is that we have a model that is different from your normal bookkeeper. So if you look at a normal bookkeeper right now in your business, he is not there actively. You can call him an accountant, you can call him a bookkeeper, but he only performs a function when you need it. What is those functions when you need it? So the primary things that I've dealt with over a number of years where people need something is, for example, they need a tax clearance certificate because they have to do something with it. They need a set of financial statements because they have to do something with it. Because the bank either requires it, or they need a tender, or they need to do something with it. Now, in order to get to a set of financial statements, in order to get to a tax clearance certificate, you need to do the books. And then if you don't use that bookkeeper or an accountant efficiently, that means that person is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And then the information that he's using in order to prepare the tax clearance certificate and the information that he's using in order to prepare the financial statements is completely incorrect, because he's not there in your business day to day, he's not in your business week to week, he's not in your business month to month. So you can't really call that person a bookkeeper or an accountant because he's not performing what he's supposed to be doing. So why are we different from strategic accounting point of view is, so let's get into it. So we have our own accounting system, which is a web-based application. So the biggest question that people ask me is, I've got Sage. Why do I have to use your accounting system? Why are you this and why are you that? It's very simple. If you look at Sage, for example, let's get to Sage. Now, Sage is also a web-based application, the same thing that I'm showing you right now. Mine is also a web-based application, the same thing I'm showing you right now in front of your screen. It's a login button, and you have a username and password that you have to enter into the application. So even if you have Sage, even if you have Xero, because we also have Xero as one of our service offering as well, why do we prefer that your business needs to be part of our service offering and part of our application basis? So if you look at Sage, this is the landing page as far as Sage is concerned. This is the landing page as our application is concerned. So if you look at our landing page, for example, versus the Sage landing page versus the Xero landing page, you can see there's a lot of differences between the three applications. But if you look at what the functionality is concerned between the applications, they all do the same function, because the function is for you to produce a set of financial statements and for you to produce management accounts at the end of the day. Remember the cycle I said, you need to produce management accounts for you to make decisions on a real-time basis and a real-time platform point of view. Now, if you compare the three applications, if you look at the strategic accounting application, my application is designed for the SMME and medium-sized business in mind. The applications for Sage and the applications for Xero, these are designed for accountants. So therefore, it is very difficult to understand what these things mean. If you don't understand accounting, these dashboards don't mean anything to you. I will have a specific video dealing with all three applications. What are the differences, the pros and cons of all three applications? But the major thing that I want to show you today is that the things that we show you as far as our application is concerned, when we train you up on our application, we show you how to do a quote from the application. So the main thing from an SMME's perspective is it's an easy layout menu button. There's a sales and there's your quote function. So there's all your quotes that you have. It's sequentially numbered. And also the application shows when it's invoiced and when it's open. So when it's open, that means it's not invoiced. When the status goes to invoiced, that means an invoice has been sent. The system also keeps a track record of this is your trail, this is your email, this is your receipt, and where the invoice has gone to. The status also shows rejected as well. So it shows a rejected status over here. So that means when the client comes back to you and they say, please change, or I don't want to deal with you anymore, then you mark the status as rejected. You can export all the quotations onto an Excel document, and then you can do interrogation of what your hit rate is as far as your quotations are concerned. So this is how the quotation looks like. You got all your line items that you've got there. You print in PDF if you want to send that to the client, so your logo will appear on this side. You can have quote, cost estimate, quotation, whatever you want, what you're invoicing, what you're quoting for, etc., and then your terms and conditions that you have at the bottom over here. Your terms and conditions are static and variable. So like I said, there is a specific video that will deal step by step with every element as far as the application is concerned, so look out for those videos. So when a client comes back to you, say, I'm happy with your quotation, please email it to me. So you basically click on email, you change the quotation template, and then you can email that. The system will always copy you on a quotation that's being sent. So when the client comes back to you to say, please amend anything because your pricing is too high, so you basically go into the line item, you click on edit, and you can go change whatever you need to change. So when the client comes back to you, say, I'm happy with the quotation, please send me a tax invoice. You basically go in there, convert to tax invoice. Then the system will send a tax invoice according to your sequential numbers, and your status will show overdue if your due date and your invoice date is the same date. You can set up your terms and conditions on the application per client, per overall terms as far as the business is concerned. Now that's well and great. So why do we would like us to use your application? Why would you like to use my application, etc.? Those are the type of questions that I normally get. And the questions that I normally get is, why do you think that you are different from my accountant currently? The answer is very simple. When I was in corporate, I was a chief financial officer in corporate. The biggest challenge in corporate is that you're sitting in corporate and your SMME is on the one side. In corporate, you have all the structures. You have a chief financial officer that deals with all your financial elements. You have your director in sales. You got the director in operations. You got your managing director. And those people has got specific functions in dealing with specific things. Now, as far as a small business is concerned, your skill set is not necessarily accounting. Your skill set is probably doing something else that your business actually sells. So if your business is selling bricks, that means your skill set is doing bricks. Your skill set is not doing accounting. Your skill set as far as accounting is concerned, you can send a quote, you can send an invoice. That's the basic parameters as far as any small business is concerned, because you have to quote and you have to send an invoice. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate inconsistencies. We're trying to eliminate problems when it comes to the accounting side. So as far as strategic accounting business model is concerned, so let's get back to the model. We have now created a platform that myself and yourself can do transactional information and transactional work on. So now, as far as the application is concerned, you quote, you invoice. There's no other platform that you quote and invoice. So Excel documentation, Word documentation falls away. Even if you use Sage, great, we can convert that information onto our application. If you have history on the application, for example, if you have history on Sage and you would like to change it, we can just put our service offering onto your accounting system. If you use Xero and if you use Xero for years and history is on the application, I would like to still retain what's there and rather clean up and make sure that we're using the information that's there on the application. If you have no application and there's an easy transitional process between Sage or Xero or any other accounting system, we will put that onto the application, my application. So great, so now you've got the quote, you've got the invoice. So from my experience from corporate, like I explained before, is that small businesses does not necessarily have the skill set to do accounting, because accounting is very complicated. Accounting is very complicated to understand. So I've created a shared service center environment. So what is the shared service center environment? It's very simple. So once the quote and invoice is on the application, we have access to your bank account. We import your bank account onto the application. The first thing that we do on a weekly basis, we take the money that comes into the bank account and we knocked it off against the tax invoice. So what does that now represent? That represents now an age receivables report like this. So you can run your age receivables in detail, or you can run your age receivables report in summary. You can also run your age receivables report at any point in time. You can also run your age receivables report as of today, what represents today. So what's nice about the age receivables report, now you can see who owes you money in terms of age categories. If you want to send a customer statement, you basically could go in there and you go view customer statement and you can run a customer statement from the application. So that's the weekly model that we do. So let's go back to our model. So we have a cloud-based accounting system, which you can see over there. And then now we've created a shared service center environment. We will have access to your bank account. Either we have a username and password, or you send us the actual bank statements in CSV, or you set up the bank that the bank automatically sends the bank statements to us. So we import the bank on a weekly basis. We knocked it off against your sales invoices, and now we can create a age receivable report like this, so you can run customer statements from any point in time. Great. So now when you look onto the dashboard, you can see your outstanding invoices. You can see how much billing you've made for the year so far and everything that's relating to turnover. So now as far as turnover is concerned, we tick the box. Now you got live information as far as turnover is concerned. So what about balancing the books? So remember on the actual presentation, we talked about the business life cycle as far as the accounting and the tax and payroll cycles are concerned. Because if you want to create management accounts, if you want to create useful information for your business to make decisions, you basically need to complete the bank reconciliation process. In order to do that, there are two elements that we need. Firstly, we need all your supply invoices. You either email that to us, you Dropbox it to us, you OneDrive it to us, or you deliver that to us, or we have an on-site model. On-site model means a person from our office will come sit at your premises and come and process your supplier invoices. So what do we check when we process your supplier invoices? We check for VAT and we check for income tax compliance. Because when you're being audited by the tax man, you want to make sure those documentation is 100% correct. Because you don't want to have an audit issue and a problem that comes down your way. So we process those two elements. First, those elements onto the application. Then secondly, what goes out of the bank account is other types of expenses. For example, you have loan agreements, you've got bank applications, you've got bank guarantees, you've got bank problems, you've got payroll that you have to pay for. So we also do the payroll as well. We have an application for payroll as well. So we issue payslips, etc. So we have a video specifically dealing with the payroll element. So please look out for that as well. So we process all those other items from the bank, and we process the supply invoices from the bank. So we do a bank reconciliation on a weekly basis. So when you log on to the application, now, if you look at our model, we create now a live environment for you to make decisions based on information. So what are the sources of money that creates information as far as any business is concerned? Firstly, is the money that you're transacting from, to and from. So you've got a check account, so money comes in and out of that check account. You've got a call account where you're moving money away, saving money away for the rainy days or for any other types of purposes. Then you have a credit card in the business, so we also process that credit card on a weekly basis. If you're transacting cash and cash type of transactions, we also process the petty cash reconciliation. If there's no control in place, we put a control in place. And the fifth source of information is where you're paying things out of your own pocket. I strongly recommend that is not an option. I will have specific video about income tax and VAT and why you should not be paying things out of your own pocket. Rather move the money into the business account and transact from the business account. It makes everybody's life easier and your own as well. So great. So now we've got the shared server center environment. We've got the cloud-based accounting system. So what are we basically creating? We are creating the following. We create an online real-time information. So what is online real-time information? That means now if we process your books on a weekly basis, when you log onto the application, you can see how the business is doing. Now you can make informed decisions as far as the direction of the business is concerned. Great. So the second thing that we do as far as strategic accounting is concerned, data is captured daily. Depending on the frequency and the model that we've put in place, it's either daily, weekly, every second week, or it's a monthly model. So I prefer things to be done on a weekly basis, so it makes our lives easier from a reporting perspective. We'll get to the reporting side of the application. Real-time decision making on sales and proposed sales, including cost center, job activity, and accounting. So what does that mean? You can make now decisions based on quotes that you've closed and quotes that you did not close, because now the information is there. So now you can make decision as far as your hit rate is concerned, your pricing model. Is your pricing model correct? Is your pricing absolutely correct as far as the market is concerned? You don't want to underquote as far as the market is concerned as well. So you can have a track record of a number of years. The application keeps everything from day one, then when you create it, as far as the application is concerned. So I can go back to 2013 and I can do analysis, and based on 2013, how did my business do since then? So that gives me now a fair indication whether I'm coming or going as far as quotations is concerned. Then the fifth thing that we create is the ability to compare historical information. Why is that so important? Because you have to compare where your business is coming from, where your business is today, and where your business is going to. So if you look at any business cycle, you need to understand what makes your business tick now, what made your business tick before, what's going to make your business tick tomorrow. In order to have that type of information, you need to have an accounting system that you can compare historical information on it. So my application, you can create comparisons between prior years, etc., by a click of a button. So in this demonstration over here, I can compare quotes back to 2013 because I started using the application from 2013. So that makes my life easier because I can go and look at my hit rate as far as my quotations are concerned. I can also go and view all my invoices that I've generated from day one on the application. So that makes it nice because now I can compare, did I increase that particular client's fees? Did I increase particular things that I would like to increase, etc., etc., etc. So just to recap, so why are we different is that we create an online real-time information platform. The data is captured daily, real-time decision making on sales and proposed sales. I'll get to this particular element here, which talks about cost center, job, and activity. And I can also compare historical information based on my real-time environment. The only way you can do that is when you have information that is, number one, reliable, number two, that is accurate. If you don't have those two elements, then you have a problem. Because most businesses, they're trying to not capture information because of various reasons. Number one, the primary reason is because they don't want to pay tax. In my point of view is process everything, pay your taxes, then you'll see a difference in your business, because now you can see whether your business is actually making money or not. Not based on decisions whether you're paying tax or not, based on decisions how your business is performing. And that's a mindset that South African entities need to change, because in this country there's a lot of businesses that's trying to avoid VAT and income tax. Strongly advise not to do that. Rather do things properly. Then you know that things are done accurately, and you can make decisions based on business decisions, not based on tax decisions. And that's a mindset that will have to be eradicated. Great. So now, as far as reporting is concerned in the application, so let's get back to the slide. So we're dealing with VAT. So the accounting system is processed and designed for VAT. So we do VAT reporting. We have a payroll system that deals with your EMP 201s, your RP 5s, and we have your accounting system, which we will close off and prepare the statutory financial statements that you need. So why is management accounts important? Management accounts is important because you need to know how your business is doing on a monthly, weekly, etc. basis. So as far as my application is concerned, my application you can run by month. So let's just do that for the last financial year. So I can run the application by month. So it gives you months: March, April, May, June, July. Now I can see decision making as far as how my business is doing. Great. But what is management accounts? This is a financial report. Okay, there's a difference between a management account and financial report. I will have a video explaining the differences on that as well, so look out for that. So a financial report says sales, cost of sales, and all the other expenses that you've got. So that is what people are used to see. But what is a management account? A management account, now I can run my business in terms of my categories that I'm selling. In my business, I'm selling accounting, auditing, B certificate, CIPC, payroll, social media, etc. So now I can make decisions based on those elements, where I can see how my business is doing as far as management accounts are concerned. So management accounts gives me an idea. If I sold enough accounting this year, what is my focus going to be next year? What other service types do I need to put forward? What service types did well in the past? Which service types are not doing well today? Which service types is doing well tomorrow? So you can make decisions based on those. So it's very important that you're not chasing revenue, but you're chasing quality revenue. And the only way you can see whether you're chasing quality revenue if you have cost center, job, and activity accounting. And that is very important in any small business. If you don't have those things in place, you don't know whether your business is doing well in terms of your categories that you're selling, because you're only seeing a global number that your turnover is X and you're making Y. If you're selling and you are recording cost center, job, activity accounting, it makes it very easy as far as any business is concerned, because now you can make decisions as far as any business is concerned. Our software, there's a specific page on my website that talks about the software. If you want to run a free demo on the application, so basically what you're going to do is you go onto my application, or you go through my website over here, you click on log on accounting, you get to this landing page, you click on register, you fill all the details in, and you have a free trial for 30 days. So now you can play around with the application to see what it does, etc. For those businesses that normally is on the road, they work on tablets and smartphones, we have an app on the App Store as well. On the app, you can do exactly the same thing that you see in front of your ear as well. So what's nice about it, you can see many things as when you're on the road, etc., etc., etc. If you have multiple legal entities, we can set up your legal entities there as well. So you can go and transact on your legal entities using one username and password, which is nice because now you can control what's happening as far as the business is concerned. The rest of our services that we do as far as my business is concerned is we do tax compliance, we do internal financial reporting standards, financial services type of work as well, preparation of financial statements. We also a tax practitioner with SARS. We also assist with BE certificates. We are not registered at this point in time to issue BE certificates, but we assist with the audit. We do management reporting. We also do training as well. So if there's a need for training, we also do specific training. But our primary service offering is we create basically an environment for SMMEs to make decisions through a live environment based on our cloud-based accounting systems, based on our shared service center model. So those are the first two elements that we've got. Then we've got virtual financial director. So the first two elements is basically us providing you information. We don't really do anything just from providing information, issuing reports, filing your taxes, preparing your statutory financial statements. We do analysis of the management accounts to say you're doing well here, you're not doing well there. So that's where the two models here stops. So what is virtual financial director? Virtual financial director is very simple. So we have an email address in your business as such. So we are the financial director in your business. So what makes this model different from the two processing models and the provider of information model? The financial director model basically deals with other things where we control the bank account. So when you work for a corporate, you never had access to the bank account. There was a financial director, sales director, operations director, etc. So I'm bringing the corporate environment or corporate feel to a small business. So we control the bank account effectively. We do forecasting, budgeting, rolling forecasts, looking at the management accounts. We also do changes to, for example, if we see a need for service offerings to change as far as the management accounts is concerned. For example, we see that there's unnecessary use of multiple cell phones. We advise the MD that we need to cancel these contracts, because we need to ask the question, why do you need all of these contracts? We cancel them and we go on a prepaid basis. We did that to a number of few clients. We also look at every other element as far as the P&L is concerned, whether there's activity that we can look at changing or optimizing the costing structure, because the idea with Virtual Financial Director is that we control the money. We controlled also the SARS payments as well. We control the savings as far as the business is concerned. And we also issue pay slips to the managing directors of the businesses, because in small businesses, you basically live from the business. Now, Virtual Financial Director controls that element in the sense that we control the cash flow. We're making sure there's enough cash in the business to make sure that everything is paid. There will be a specific video dealing specifically with Virtual Financial Director, but for now, that is just an overview of what it actually does. So for you to make decisions, basically, to make sure that your business are doing very well. Now, if you go to our contact page, this is where we can be reached. We are based in Ravonia Road, so it's corner of Ravonia and Wessels Road. Our office address is over there. If we need to contact us, it's our telephone number is 011-050-1616. Our email address is info@strategicaccounting.co.za. Website is strategicaccounting.co.za. Mobile number I can be reached is 083-561-8040. There's also Skype as well. My Skype address is strategic01. If you have any questions or concerns, etc., please let me know. Our pricing structures, there's another video for that. For now, this video is only dealing with what our business model is about. As far as pricing and service offering and implementations, give us a call. We will deal with any concerns and we will set up a full presentation, and then we'll deal with the costing structures from there. Thank you very much.